Genesis brings you the dazzling powers of the mystic warriors, the ninja, in Revenge of Shinobi.
As much as I love Nintendo, I have a big soft spot for Sega, and I've been a big fan of theirs since the early 90s. And since I've been playing a lot of my Sega Genesis Mini as of late, I'd like to recommend to you some games I've added to my mini console recently. And obvious stuff like the Mortal Kombat's, Turtle Hyperstone Heist, Missing Sonic, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Shinobi games all apply here. Those are no-brainers. I'm talking about those other titles that are a ton of fun that you might not normally think of adding from the get-go. Starting with Splatterhouse 2 and 3. If gore and violence are your thing, these two beat-em-ups are first ballot entries. There's lots of weapons, cool bosses, and creepy atmosphere to satisfy any nefarious one. And the third game alone is just bonkers and has various endings depending how fast you can get through it. Make no mistake though, these two games are tough as nails and won't hold your hand. But I would add these two immediately. They're both single player, but they're both awesome. If you like the NES Batman game, you really should consider adding Batman the video game to your Mini. It plays great, although not as good as the NES version in my opinion. But this game is no slouch. The visuals are dark like the Tim Burton films, the music is done by Sunsoft, which is always excellent, and to be honest, it's just a plain fun action platformer. You get your Batarangs, Double Jump, as well as Batmobile and Batwing stages, which the NES game lacked. Trust me, you won't be sorry. Now here's a great two-player game to add, Alien Storm. This is just a weird and crazy time. It works as a beat-em-up, a side-scrolling shooter, just look at that speed, as well as a gallery shooter thrown in. I especially like these stages because you can just blow everything up. Just look at all this carnage. There's 3 different characters to choose from, including a robot, and it's not a very long game either, so that's always a big plus. If racing is your deal, one that tends to fly under the radar is Rock and Roll Racing. Developed by the guys from Blizzard, you have your pick of quite a few intergalactic racers who all have strengths and weaknesses. The gameplay is smooth and responsive, and best of all, there's hardly any rubber banding. Once you're in the lead, the computer won't cheat and make a huge comeback, which is so refreshing. You can also buy various cars and customize your vehicle any way you choose too. Plus you get chiptune versions of Bad to the Bone, Paranoid, and Radar Love. For some odd reason, the SNES port of Robocop vs. Terminator wasn't that great. There's just something off about it. The Genesis port just seems more arcadey, if that makes sense. It's a hell of a lot faster and gorier too. If run-and-gun games are your thing, you definitely need to try this game out. It's really awesome. The weapons you get are plentiful, from spread shots, missiles, and lasers, and your jump is actually pretty decent too, unlike other games. I was shocked how great this version was and how much fun I had, and you need to add this game straight away. And to finish things off is Dynamite Duke. A gallery shooter like the Punisher on the NES, what I like about this game is how addictive it is. It looks like a simple shooter, but it plays really well. You can cause a lot of damage to the various stages, you can duck around enemy fire too, and during the boss fights you can enter hand-to-hand combat and perform various attacks. Just trust me on this, it's a lot of fun and you should definitely check it out. So guys, there's a few games to add to your Sega Genesis Mini. What did you think? Let me know down in the comments section below if you've played any of these games. I'm Will. For those about to retro, we salute you. Take care.
悪の組織、愛を追い詰めろ。五感で戦え、超サイバーアクション e スワットメガドライブから。